Okay, Robert, thank you again for being here today at the ICCG event, and
Nice to be here.
Appreciate you coming. I'm curious of what motivated you first off to attend today's event, and your insights, or yeah, let's look at motivations for coming.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm interested in the work that ICCG is doing on, enabling employment opportunities within Southern California. So for me, that's very important, right? And the reason why I came today basically was because I'm interested in the topics, right, of IT and data and how we can work with that, and how specifically that relates to what we can do in San Diego or Orange County, those areas.
Very good. And secondarily, I mean, do you think that I know that we're only halfway through the information, but what's your response thus far with both the information provided and the group interaction?
I think the group interaction is fantastic, and I think the information is really interesting. So, very interesting.
That's it.
It's
again,
a learning experience for me.
The idea of CXOs having opinions on something or so, was such a surprise. But and the third thing is obviously, again, a beautiful facility and the like. But our hope is that you do feel a commitment to ICCG and will continue to be involved. Again, thank you so much, Robert.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. For coming in. We appreciate Deloitte's support of ICCG. My question really to you is your commitment to ICCG. Could you give us a quick explanation of what motivated you, and we're grateful for it, but what is the important points? And
well, I think as an organization we are definitely committed to fostering innovation. Having operated in the healthcare and life sciences industry my whole career, I see so much potential with what we do have in Southern California. So much like you all are trying to foster innovation and keep jobs in California, we'd like to see our clients be successful and stay here and foster the development in healthcare as it's evolving. It's evolving so quickly right now. So I think many of your similar missions are what we're trying to do as well.
Right. I'd agree. I mean, I think it's the part that we find actually the most valuable of an organization like ICCG is the fact that you're not exclusive to just the healthcare or life sciences, and the fact is that you're bringing people in from other industries as well, and we think that makes a huge difference because it's in that collaboration and cross pollination that we think that the industry needs to move, and this venue provides the opportunity to have something like that.
So, with this in mind, and particularly from a CXO perspective, and I realize that you're not in it, but that's who your primary customers are.
Right.
Do you think that the proposition that we spoke about this morning of the shift between IT specifically moving from a cost center to a profit center is obtainable? And do you think that kind of shift is going to happen not just in the Southern California area, but in the California market?
So I can give a real example of that actually happening at one of my clients. My client is a major producer of radiation oncology equipment. It's a major producer, one of the largest in the world. And they're really moving themselves from being a hardware producer to a software producer. And in order to become a software producer, in essence, you have to take some of the skill sets that are part of IT in order to really become in the software world. And so we're already starting to see that across multiple ones of our clients, that the business itself is changing. It's becoming an information business rather than a hardware business. And because of that, we think it will happen, and it will almost certainly you're going to be either ahead of the game or you're going to be behind the game. But it isn't a question of whether it's going to happen or not going to happen.
And my last question to you, Julie, is so one of the topics that we are committed to investigating today and to kind of review is this whole concept of digital health and mobile health. Mm-hmm. Will it have as much of an impact as we believe? I mean, are the headlines and expectations, do you think, obtainable?
I think it will evolve a little more slowly than we'd like it, but it's definitely going to happen. If you think about some of the objectives of what really was the precursor of health reform, it was to improve quality and reduce cost, and without doing what many other industries have done to enable things in a to really leverage information, we can't get there. So it's going to be critical for us to evolve that, and I think you'll see significantly more investments both from the private and public sectors in mobile and digital health.
Very good. Again, we appreciate you so much coming in, being a sponsor, and helping us for today's event. Thank you. Appreciate you coming today. And,
You're welcome.
Again, welcome to the Southern California healthcare ecosystem.
Yeah.
I hope that I'm confident that this wasn't the only reason that you that you were motivated to come.
Not the only reason, but part of it.
So, as I said, and I know that it was sort of a learning experience, but what was your reaction on the morning session of ICCG, and do you see it as valuable?
Yeah, I did actually. I was really impressed with the diversity of the group. It's all still around healthcare, but so many different perspectives, coming from whether it's a provider like us or whether it's someone who's providing services to a provider or someone who's in the business of doing development of new technology or equipment, and yet we could still talk about what are the common issues. And then to have the Deloitte session last, I was wondering how that would work, but it really worked well because it kind of pulled it all together and then talked about what are the big challenges they're seeing in the life sciences and the healthcare space. So I thought that not only the diversity but the size of the group was what was good, because you could have a good dialogue and a good conversation because there weren't too many people there.
I'm glad that it is by design. I don't,
Right.
but and I appreciate that input. So one of the questions that was raised, and I don't know whether it's one that I'm not asking for just a succinct answer,
Yeah.
but one of the things that we've kind of been kicking around the last two sessions of ICCG is this idea that the IT can move from being a cost center to a profit center, and it's a great tagline, but is it a reality? And if so, what's your vision for the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, I don't know if I would say in the traditional sense of becoming, a profit center, but what we have to be viewed as is being able to be an enabler and a transformer of the business and help drive cost out of the organization, create efficiencies, create better outcomes. We'll never be measured on selling that to the business and saying we're producing revenue in our case, but it needs to move away from we're spending all this money on IT to where the investments we're making in IT are really driving these values. So in some senses, yeah, it moves from cost to value, I'd say at least, but maybe not the traditional revenue center.
And the last quick question, and again, just as succinct as you like, but one of the topics that's coming up in the next half of our process is this concept of mobility, right, digital health,
right,
and the like. What is your 3 to 5 year vision that, how is it going to play, and where's the value?
We look at it from about a couple different perspectives. One is we have a very mobile workforce. A nurse takes care of maybe even 4 patients, but she's going back and forth into different rooms. The physician rounds on a number of patients, or they want to look at something when they're not in the hospital, or in a physician office setting. So there's an ability for us to really make their jobs more efficient if we can really drive functionality that's complete to mobile devices. And the struggle we're having right now is that the footprint and some of the function that some of our partners in the vendor world are delivering aren't complete enough for them to really get a good workflow. So I see an opportunity there. And then the second thing, as it deals with our internal workforce, is there's so much technology that we're beginning to introduce, like barcode scanning, like nurse communication, that all runs on some form of a device. And if we can converge that down to a single smartphone type of device, we not only will allow them to do a lot of their functions, in a very convenient way, but we'll also converge the number of devices we're forcing them to use. And now they make a joke about nurses wearing these belts with all these devices, and so we're really developing a strategy to what's that device, and it seems to be, it really does seem to be coming down to the smartphone. So we really see that as value. And then on the second side, it's really as we look to further engage our customers, patients, mobile is going to be a big part of that, because that's, the whole world is moving to the convenience of mobile, being able to do anything anywhere, and we need to interact and be able to connect with them from a mobile perspective. And that's just being able to deliver our services and communicate that way, much like all the other industries.
Right. It is, in some ways, the consumerisation of healthcare.
Right. It is.
I appreciate it very much, Ken. appreciate you so much coming to ICCG, and I hope that we have. First of all, your presentation was, in my opinion, very compelling, and it certainly was
Thank you.
the catalyst for a lot of good discussions in our first session. First of all, other than the opportunity just to speak in front of, I think it's a good group. What is your initial reaction to the ICCG format and organization?
Well, I think it's really interesting how you bring together people from the different industries. So I come from healthcare, and I'm used to being around people that are all in healthcare. And there are people here that are not from healthcare but are related to it. And I think that creates innovation and creativity in the problem solving.
Right. And secondarily, and I know it's one that you've been involved with only because of your career, but you know, again, the fundamental goal for ICCG is to help innovate the economic growth of our areas. Are the areas that we're covering today, do you think, have the ability to seed domain expertise within the Southern California area?
Absolutely. I mean, it's universal. I think that we have universities, we have a population, we have great people who are looking for work and who want to stay in the beautiful sunshine.
Yep. And then lastly, in your view, in the next 3 to 5 years, do you think that the two critical issues that we're talking about today with both, I'll call it transparency, data transparency or convertibility, and mobility and digital health, what do you think the roadmap is? What's your predictions?
I don't know what the roadmap is. My prediction is that we will solve the problems. I can't at this point. It would be nice to say within 5 years we'll solve it, that we'll have the security issues solved, and that people will be willing to take some risks, and organization will take risks, and then people will be able to have their data no matter where it stands. I would love to say that would happen in the next couple years. I have hope someday it will happen. I just have no idea when, because we have a lot of challenges, which would then mean jobs. Yeah.
Again, appreciate you
thanks.
attending today.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Jeanette, appreciate you very much coming today, and I'm glad that you're a participant and a co-chair of the ICCG event. We're halfway through. What's your input so far?
Well, I think the input and the dialogue is great. I mean, at the end of the day, this is all about how multiple healthcare systems, patient information, service providers and vendors all come together, how we interoperate, how we exchange very critical patient level information, and it's not all solved. There's a lot of work to do, but I actually think that this team here creates a platform for us to have some big ideas and see how we can tackle some really big issues that are still outstanding in this new world of healthcare.
Very good, very good statement. I'm thinking, okay, that was pretty succinct. So,
thank you.
And I'm not asking for spot on, but if you had a 3 to 5 year roadmap of where you think the two primary things that we're discussing today on both mobility, digital health, and health security issues, what's your forecast?
Well, I think all the above. Definitely all of those concerns and questions and actually modalities need to be addressed. And if CIOs, heads of technology, business functions aren't focused on that, then I just don't see progress in this new world of healthcare. So for me personally, I think two key things. It's how, as a service provider, how we interoperate with the healthcare system and how we exchange data, whether it's business transactional data and possibly where we're headed, even where PHI, personal health information, so we can support aspects of a big healthcare system, either through contingent labor and healthcare clinicians that we provide into these systems, or how we might provide other innovative solutions into the system. Certainly privacy, security. If we could get the healthcare system to form consortiums and come up with some good standards and make it easier on us, vendors and suppliers, we're there. I mean, I think technically we're there, but how we can align on how we manage security and interoperability, and how that extends to mobile devices, that is ubiquitous, regardless of the device or where you are, that we can run our healthcare systems cost effectively and efficiently. So,
and how much question is, so the part of the conversation this morning was Affordable Care Act.
Yes.
Do you think that this shift in the economic landscape of healthcare will compel it to go down that path, or do you think that?
Oh, it has to.
That's
It really has to, because we're absolutely going to see. I mean, think about it. I think there was a really good statement today. You know, we've got the core kind of personal health information, but we have that halo information, right? Social media. I'll put anything out there. I think there's privacy concerns also, right? So if we don't get our act together on how we can digitally operate in a new world securely and openly, we will not have achieved the goals of Affordable Care Act, and we'll be having this conversation 5 years out when the problem should be solved by then.
Well, again, appreciate you coming today. Thank you for the time.
Thank you very much.